Hi, I'm Tom. I'm a second year computer science student, and today I'm going to be looking back at my university career so far and just sort of talking about the ways that I've changed, the things I've learned. So, in my first year, I had a pretty terrible work ethic, and I can look back and I can see this. It took deadlines for me to actually get a good work ethic, and by the end of last year, I was doing 9 a.m. till 2 a.m. in the computing labs because I'd left it to the last minute. That's one of the biggest ways that I feel as if I've changed since my first year at university, is learning to deal with the work. When you first come to university, it might seem stressful, it might seem like you've got this huge workload, especially around deadline dates. But you'll be fine. You'll figure it out. Trust me, we're all going to make it. Another thing that took me quite a while to learn, and I'm sure every single student can relate to this, is money management. During Freshers Week, I must have spent about a lot of money going out with people who I haven't actually spoken to since Freshers Week. But you learn. That's one of the big things for me, is that I learn how to deal with my money, my weekly shop. Write out a budget. If you're a first year student and you haven't figured this out yet, you please write out a budget. There are resources that the government gives, that the university gives, on how to write your budget. There's this thing called Financial Fairy Tales, which I believe is teaching students how to deal with money. Your relationship with money is going to change massively while you're at university. At least it did for me, and that's something that you've got to figure out for yourself. One of my biggest regrets from last year is that I only joined one society. Seriously, societies are incredible. You get to meet like-minded people who live locally, who all have like a passion for something that you're interested in. It's incredible. You can just spare a couple hours a week to go to the meetings. You'll meet some people that you may know for the rest of your life. I know that I've made some very, very good friends through societies, so that's something I wish I'd done more of last year. Another thing that's changed a lot for me has been the way that I eat and cook. I remember my first year, I was in my flat trying to cook a burger, like fry it, and I used so much oil, I can't believe I didn't set the smoke alarm off. It was ridiculous. I mean, they were great burgers, but I used way too much oil. So you have two options. You can, one, do what I did first year and then just end up buying loads of frozen stuff and cooking that. Or two, you can learn to cook, which is hugely rewarding and something that you can carry with you. I mean, this might be the first time, at least it was for me, that you're going to be cooking yourself 3 meals a day. Use this opportunity to learn how to cook properly. It will make a huge difference. Something that I wish I'd done in first year and I've only started doing recently is looking at macronutrients, so protein and carbohydrates and fat and stuff, to make sure that you're eating the right food that's going to make you feel great and give you energy for university. Don't just have frozen pizzas every day. I did that for a week. Well, frozen pizzas and frozen pies. Wasn't a healthy week. I didn't feel that great the week after. Okay, it's just a video about university, so I should probably talk about the academic side of things. Like I've said already, my work ethic has changed a lot. In terms of paying attention in lectures, when you first come to university, you have these really high expectations, and I feel as if, especially during your first year, you're lulled into a sort of false sense of security where you think, I can pay attention to half this lecture, or I can leave at the break because I've already signed the register and I'm going to be fine. Don't do that, because your first few lectures might be like that. As they go on, they won't be like that. I can speak for computer science, where we're taught programming, and for some of us, we already know programming, but a lot of people won't already know programming. The problem is that they have to teach it as if everyone knows nothing about programming, obviously. So, for someone like myself who already knew quite a bit of programming beforehand, again, this doesn't have to be programming, it can relate to any subject. It's just this example, I do computer science, so it was very easy for me to switch off during those first few lectures, and it was very hard to break out of that. And I missed so many things, so many learning opportunities that I then had to go back and catch up on when assignments came around. Going into the second year, I know a lot of people who never broke out of that mindset. And you can't do that. You cannot do that. And they're now realizing that assignments are due. Whoa! This university thing isn't actually that easy. Finally, I'm going to talk about the SU, because we are incredibly lucky with our SU, and especially with the people running the SU this year. I felt a lot during my first year, and I even said this to some friends, that I didn't feel like I went into university the same way I'd go into school for the day or go into college for the day. And now I've joined a sort of position at the SU, I realise just how much there actually is to get involved with at university. Once you start taking part in SU things, you realise that you are a part of this university. And that's not just for the SU, that could include just spending time in university. There are so many events across campus, so many guest lectures, so many events put on by the SU. I didn't feel a part of the university until I went to them. And when you do go to them, when you start going to them and you realise how much more there is to university than just going up to lectures and completing your assignments, your whole perception of university changes. At least it did for me. Thanks for watching. I've been Thomas Locke for Student Life. See you next time. I did this last time, so I'm going to do it again. Tom out. That's just going to be my sign-off now, isn't it?